Hey, Janie. Well, I just realized that I never adjusted the light before I actually signed on. I don't know why the light filter's been weird lately, but it seems very, very bright. I'm gonna turn this one off. Yeah, it helps a little bit. All right, so hopefully you're feeling okay, and that's not the reason why you couldn't have your lesson today, because so many have been sick lately, so hopefully you're doing okay that way. I'm going to go ahead. I think that you don't have page 2 or 3 of this one, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send those to you here in just a minute, and I'm going to tell you about them today. I'll just go over page 2 a little bit. Of course, going from page 1 into page 2 is probably the most helpful way to start. So I'm going to flip over to the other shot, I think. There we go. All right, and this way you can get an idea of whether or not you are playing it correctly. Okay, here we go from the beginning, nice and slow. Okay, so that would have been all of page 1, right? Here we go into page 2. Right, and then that would repeat. You must have page 2. Must have page 2. I'm seeing it in my head. Yeah, maybe you just don't have page 3. So we're going to go ahead and pretend that it's the second ending at measure 11. You would then have measure 9, measure 11, second ending. Okay, so there at the second ending, you go from the C and the A to that. So the A ends up being repeated with your second finger so that you can play those together. In this shot, it's dark enough out right now that that light is a problem, so I'm going to put this one back on. Yay! I think I turned off the wrong one earlier anyway. Let's try that instead. That seems better. That's better. Okay, so back at measure 11, we had that. It's an interval of a sixth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you continue playing the A. Make sure you got the B flat that's in your music. And then you've got, at the beginning of measure 12, right? You have the low C, the E and the C in your right hand. And now these lines are going to move together, okay? You have the C and the E, then they go up one, and then they return to the C and the E, okay? So you have that. It just so happens that that C continues holding at measure 12, so you get that. Okay, so that one holds, and these keep going. Okay, and then measure 13. So where you had the 6th in your right hand, E to C, then it goes to the 5th. Your thumb just comes up so that you can play that, right? Thumb comes up. Then that A is going to be caught by your second finger again. So you had that, and then you're going to repeat the A with your second finger, and then you have what you had before, right? And then the G, okay? So you have the E, G, B flat. Okay? So this is what you had at measure 13, beat 1, and it's the same at measure 15, beat 1. This, right? Now you get to play the A with your thumb so that you can come up. Your left hand is going to come up so your second finger can play B flat. I know that chord sounds funny, right? Sorry, keep yawning. We have A, G, C, so it sounds funny. If that A were this, then you'd get it really close. It's just more open this way. So if you get to that point in measure 16 and you think that's wrong, that's right, okay? And then play the F, and it does it again. Okay? This is a 7th in your left hand at measure 18. You have D up to C. This is G, B, F. Okay? Your right hand swings over so that you can play that 2 on D. Once you play the 2 on D, now that your hand is automatically in a new place. Okay? There's the 7th again in your left hand. And then going into page 3, you'd have the same thing. Then it's different. And then it has this at the very, very end, okay? So I'm going to play through page 2 for you without stopping. I'm going to do measure 9 to measure 11 for the second ending, and then go on slowly so that you can follow along without me stopping and talking. So, measure 9. At that point, of course, I'm into page 3 that I'm not sure that you have, okay? Going back to page 2, of course, our focus this time, I'm going to look at this area right here. It always kind of comes in and out of focus. Someday I'll figure out how to get it to not do that, and I don't want to make you nauseous. So, I'm going to flip back to this angle. So, at that place in your music, it has the 1, 2, 3. Those are the finger numbers, right? Funky hair. Yeah, kind of. It says, no, I won't. I won't. Whatever, it's late in the day anyway. At that point in your music, the measure 15, right? The 1, 2, 3 is the finger number part of it, but it also sits under a little bar, and at the top of the bar it says 3, okay? So this is something in music called a hemiola. You may have talked about it in choir before. I don't think we've talked about it in your lessons before. Hemiola in music is when we're going to force 3 events into the same amount of time that is usually divided by 2. So to clarify that, music is usually counted in pairs, like 1 and 2 and. If you get into 16th notes, then it's still in pairs, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. It's still an even counting process. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an even counting process. Everything breaks into halves. So when we have the bar with the 3, what that's saying is that we're going to take that beat, and instead of dividing it into 2 equal parts, we're going to take that beat and divide it into thirds. So that's why it sounds a little stretched out. In this case, we're going to take 2 beats, but we're going to we're going to divide it into 3 parts. There we go, right? And so one kind of fits inside the other. An example of this, I can show you if I play divided into 3s in my left hand. If I play 1, triple it, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See how you end up with 3 things in the same amount of time that you usually have 1 and 2 and. And so when you play them at the same time, it sounds like this. So sometimes they hit together. Like in that first part of the set, it always hits together. But that one doesn't, right? And that one doesn't. That one did. Because this one is dividing the beat into thirds, and this one is dividing the beat into halves, okay? Into pairs. So, at this moment in the music, instead of having 1, 2, 3, and 4, and, right, and dividing it into even parts, we're stretching out those 3 notes, those 3 events over 2 beats, and so it's unequal. You get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. It's hard to count it and do it at the same time, okay? But what you hear in the music when you're looking at this, when you're listening to the recording, that sort of stretch sound, da da da, right? That's what that's called. That's hemiola. So you went from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You get that other sense because we're dividing it unequally. We're dividing it into thirds instead of into halves. So hopefully that will help you also. So 13, 14 minutes on this lesson already. I think that's probably about enough information for you in a video. The secret word for this video is going to be, I can't remember which one I did earlier for a video now. I think it was frozen bunnies. I think that's what I did earlier. Frozen bunnies, okay? Because there are going to be some frozen little bunnies burrowing down out here very soon. So, make sure that you do go over this video. Hopefully it will help you to continue to move forward. Do practice the first page. Now, I would imagine that you haven't been practicing a whole lot lately because things are really busy and a lot of illness is going around. But everything on that first page we've really already addressed. So make sure you're going on to page 2. Really can't figure out my hair. So if you don't have page 2 and my memory is incorrect there, then let me know and I'll scan it and I'll send it to you tomorrow, okay? And hopefully that will help you go ahead and move forward. Spring break is coming, so you'll want to make some decent progress before you hit spring break, and maybe you'll be even leaving town, I would think. So hang in there, and I will see you hopefully in person next time. Bye, Janie.